Hi everyone, this is Robin. Uh, I was going to make a video on God consortship, uh, and then I had several very embarrassed takes because I'm a soft fluff and I feel a little bit vulnerable about the topic. And so basically, now this take is to say deities, love them, smooch them, give them hugs. Have sex with deities if you want. It's a thing you can do. Uh, um, God consortship. Love them. Smooch them. um, yeah. So God consortship is if you feel about a deity or deities uh, in a romantic and or sexual and or quasi-platonic relationship, or in a quasi-platonic romantic sexual way, you might end up entering into one of these kinds of relationships with them. That's basically what it is. You talk to them just like anyone, however you talk to deities. Um, they say they like you, they love you, you have feelings for them. It might be rooted in past life stuff, or it might be something that develops just in this life. Um, It might be that you know each other across other planar dimensions. Any number of things could be possible or be the reason that you have feelings like that for a deity. Um, I do believe that we are multidimensional beings, and our human selves is just a part of the larger tapestry of who we are. Um, and we can have relationships with entities that are not human, with entities that are incorporeal. Uh, and those relationships can be very special, and they can have started in different times in different places. They could have started, or they could be uh, the primary foundation for this relationship with a deity that you have. It can have started at a part of you in a planar reality that um, maybe you're coming into contact with in this life. And so then that relationship also presents itself in your human life, um, as the different parts of yourself kind of connect and bleed into one another and channel through in that way. Um, and um, ye I don't know. I don't know if anybody has ever just approached a god for a relationship in that manner and said, "Hi, I think we should have a relationship. What do you say? Let's date." And the god is like, "Oh, well, maybe. Well, okay, yeah, maybe. All right, let's try." I don't know if it ever happens that way because that's not how it really happened with me in either case. Um, I'm in a consort relationship with Set, um, through a multidimensional self of mine. Um, that's kind of where the foundation of it was before my human life, was through that multidimensional relationship. Um, and I I also am a consort of sorts. Okay, I'm give myself credit. I'm a consort of Loki as well. Um, and that one's harder to explain. I feel like we know each other on some level beyond my human self. Um, but I also feel like in the grand scheme of things, I'm not quite sure what the nature of that relationship is on other planes or in other levels. I know in this human me level, um, he's helped me out a lot and he's been very caring and damn sexy. And uh, but that one's a little bit more difficult to explain, I think. Um, I don't quite understand all of the layers of that one yet. Um, More to explore, I guess. Ah, he's fun. Um, and like I said, with Set, it's through that connection to that other layer of me. You know, somewhere in the multi-dimensional layers, there is a me or a part of me or a section of me that has a relationship with Set. And that seems to be coming through um, for me in this life. And hated too. uh, it was funny because I approached him first as a deity, but whenever I approached him, I was really being hard on myself and I wanted him to basically kick my ass into gear. I went to him looking for someone to kick my ass, and instead, he just gave me the most loving, compassionate, empathetic, just love. And it really surprised me. Like, with the reputation he has sometimes with other like Kemetic pagans and people that work with him and people that love him very dearly. He still sometimes develops this reputation as a hard ass. um, but God, he's so sweet and he's so beautiful, and I love him so much. He, God. Anyway, I love him. He's just so much goodness. He's so good. Um, it's funny because I approached him first, and like I said, I wanted him to kind of kick my ass into gear because I didn't feel good about myself, and I was really hurting from a previous relationship. And he actually told me at the time there was like for a few weeks or for a month or so, he did talk to me and he did give me just love and acceptance and compassion and um I made a pizza for him. I made a homemade pizza and it was a mess. It was a catastrophe. But it was good. It still tasted like food, and that's the real important thing. But he actually at that time I asked him, because I had trauma and trust issues, I asked him what his intentions were with me. And through it was the Star Child Akashic Tarot, actually, that I was speaking to him through. And through that medium, he said, or he indicated basically that his intentions were to help me remember parts of myself um, that I interpret now as like that different, that other level, or those other levels of me. Um, but at that moment, or at that around that time, he told me to come back later. Basically, he he told me that I wasn't ready for him or for the Kemetic deities in general, the ones that I was trying to interact with, or the ones that I was trying to get to know better. Um, I felt this pull to Kemeticism, or to Set strongly, to Anubis as well, to Bast. And I I think Loki's teasing me. What's up, dude? um, Maybe I'm just paranoid. Anyway, um, so he told me to come back later, that I wasn't ready, and I spent a year. Talking to Hecate instead, and she really helped me get grounded and good with myself about um, I framed it at the time as recovering parts of my soul, but I mean, maybe I don't know. Um, but that was how I was understanding it at the time. Um, I was recovering inside of myself the ability to see myself for who I was, because I think a lot of that had been lost in the previous relationship that I'd had. Um, so I was recommuning and re-getting in touch with me, and I was uncovering a lot of parts of myself that were hidden underneath layers of depression and layers of trauma. So that's what I associated with recovering parts of my soul. And Hecate was absolutely nurturing and understanding and tough when she needed to be, and really compassionate and caring. And she really cared. But and I'm grateful to her for that. She really did help me during that year. Um, but it wasn't until after that year that healing through that relationship and recovering parts of myself that I'd lost during that time. It wasn't until I had almost, or I had done most of the work in that particular way, that it wasn't until I said to myself I was ready to start dating again that Set came back. And he was like, "Hey, date me, date me." And I don't know if any of you have met him, but god damn. Whew, God, and especially at the time, like God, he's sexy. God. So he said date me, and I was just like, Oh yes. He's playful and he's sweet and he's just beautiful. And I'm uh, I have feelings. I have so many squishy feelings. I have so many feelings. Ah, he's so loving. Ah. Anyway. uh, you, my tender, squishy heart. Here it is. But yeah, so deity consortship is having romantic and or sexual feelings for deities. Um, I just had a thought. Like, I mean, if you, because I just had a thought about like if it's just I've had sexual feelings and like things happen between me and deities a few more than just the ones that I'm in a relationship with. But you don't. What I'm saying is that you don't have to like commit to a relationship or like full on into like you can have sex without the romance. You can have the romance without the sex. You can have quasi platonic feelings in a um some kind of marriage or whatever. You can have it with or without any of these things, you know? It's just what you and the deity that you're interested in decide upon, you know? It's a negotiation, it's a relationship. You talk it out. You decide what you want and what you don't want. It can happen on multiple levels. It can happen on multiple planar levels. Even as you grow and change in your concepts of how the world works or how reality is, those relationships can and do change with you. Um, and you can have different kinds of relationships with the same deity over time. You know, it's I think it's a constant dance or adjustment. It's how are you feeling? Is it still good? Is it still yeah? Okay, yeah. Is it still good for both or either of us? Yes. This is awesome. One of the things that as a person with a lot of trauma and as a person having been healing from that trauma and depression and stuff and healing from relationship and emotional abuse and things like that. Healing from insecure childhood attachments and bad parenting. Um, One of the things I found, I guess I don't want to talk about it in that way. Um, it's interesting because if you tell deities, if you tell the people that you love where you are in your emotional needs, in your emotional state of being, or your mental or spiritual life, you if you're honest about where you are, then the people that love you will meet you wherever you are, on whatever level or whatever stage you're at. Like in early in early parts of my relationship with Set, um, there were some things that I noticed, ways that he ended up helping me with kind of that thing that I mentioned about insecure childhood attachments, where because of trauma and personality disorders and stuff, he kind of was helping me with um, uh, like object permanence or um, trust in relationship bond continuation. Like, I struggled for a very long time with, if someone is not saying right now that they love me and they still want to be with me, then there was that constant questioning and re-questioning of, well, do they still? Well, what would make them not want to anymore? What things that I do or don't do could make them want to leave? And I think early on in my relationship with Set, um, he ended up helping a lot with my understanding that he, you know, as a deity, or even just as a mature person, maybe. Like, I don't think that it's an inherently inhuman concept. I just think that in practice it doesn't get practiced in a lot of um, our societies, and a lot of the ways that we are taught, and a lot of the ways that we teach ourselves, or a lot of the ways that we learn. Um, he showed me a kind of love that was unconditional, and that he didn't have to be his love for me didn't have to be affected by my actions or changes or moods. That love was something far more expansive than anything that would be reactive to those moments in time. Um, Sort of a presence, or a sort of permanence. It's like wanting to support someone, and excuse me, wanting to support someone in being the best, happiest, absolute best, most fulfilled version of themselves. And that kind of love isn't conditional. It's not based on the temporal. It just full stop. It's not based on the temporal. It's this video is going far beyond the scope of just what is God consortship, but this is just the way that I am right now. um, he taught me that the people that love you, that loving unconditionally means that even if I fuck up or do something stupid, or if I hurt myself, or if I hurt others, maliciously or unintentionally, or if I, he could be disappointed, he could be concerned, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't love me. And he was really the first person to show me. I think my friend showed me that in glimpses before. I think my friend, my, human human friend did show me glimpses of that before. But I think also Set drove it home in a way that I truly began to understand it. That if I am not constantly looking for him, he will still be there. Set will. That I don't have to keep checking and keep checking and keep making sure that I'm still lovable, or that he still loves me, because he does. Because that that ability to form a connection of trust, of continuation, and being able to, it's sort of like reconnecting electrical signals. It's like allowing a continuation to keep happening, and not just instances or moments in time. Like in traumatic memory, things get kind of segmented and separated into instances of highly charged emotional reaction, um, overwhelming sensory input, and those, they kind of get segmented and separated from each other, and that also helps to create that instability of mind and emotional frameworks of, well, but anything could happen. I don't know how to connect all this shit. Anything could happen, and I am completely without a foundation or a floor to stand on. Um, I don't know how to connect these moments in time. Not a lot of people with trauma end up not having a cohesive personal narrative. And not having that cohesive personal narrative, it becomes also difficult to trust that instances or that people or experiences around you will still be there when you're not looking. Because you feel that maybe it's almost as if parts of you are not there in instances when you're not looking. You see what I mean? But Set really, I, I think he really deeply understands trauma. And he really, really deeply cares for his followers and his children and his consorts. I think he loves them. And he helped me start continue along the path to being able to create that personal narrative for myself. Being able to trust. He helped me to start understanding that he just really helped me. The people that love you, love you. The people that truly, truly love you will always love you. And we don't practice that. Like I said, we don't practice that very well as humans, I think. But I think as deities, as souls, as people outside of the three-dimensional earthly understanding of linear time, outside of the temporal state, matter and time. I think deities like Set have the ability, have the it's I feel like it's easier sometimes. No, I just feel like it's easier not being wrapped up in earthly life, uh, to be able to hold that space of compassion or unconditional love. And I think deities are a lot bigger or more expansive than we as humans can really understand. But I also think that we, as souls in a human body, I think we are also bigger and more expansive than we can right now understand. Uh, you know, part of coming to Earth is, I guess, forgetting some of that for a while. And I think one of the things that confuses or concerns people sometimes about God consortship is whether they're approaching that kind of relationship with a deity themselves or whether they are looking upon the relationships of other people with deities. One of the common questions is, but why are you, or but why am I worthy of a relationship with a deity who is so much bigger than I am? And really, I asked Set once, I asked him, but what could I possibly offer you? You're a god who has or could have anything that you wanted, anything. And what could I possibly offer you? And he just said, being yourself, being you. He said, you're a person. You love just like anyone. You, yourself, you, your unique being. That's what you offer. The ways that you love, the ways that you understand things in your life, the ways that you show love are uniquely yours in your time, in your circumstance, in the ways that you perceive yourself and others and your life. It is truly blessed and unique. And I think I just want to leave off with that. Thanks for watching. I'm the ways that you love are worthwhile. You are a part of Source, God, the universe, however you want to see it. You're a part of that love, just like everyone else. And that's special and that's wonderful and beautiful. And whatever you share of yourself is a blessing to deities, to angels, to aliens, to whoever you're talking to incorporeally. It's spirits. Um, is a blessing and of the utmost joy to them, I think. They love us, the ones that understand that they do, the ones that understand that they are love and that we all are. I'm getting floaty again. If I'm not careful, I end up like it's like a radio tuner. If I go too far the other way, I end up picking up like, oh, and now we're picking up this channel now. Thank you for watching my videos. it's a ride. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.